Hello guys, good morning. You welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Tutor Joseph. Please endeavor to subscribe, like and share to my YouTube channel. The name of my tutorial online is called the Explicit Tutorials. Okay. Now this morning we're discussing biology, a topic called feeding mechanisms in animals. Feeding mechanisms means the various means or processes with which animals derive their food in order for them to survive in their various environment and in order for them to adapt to their environment. And of course, you know that for an organism to adapt to its environment, there are certain features it must possess. Now, let us look at different feeding mechanisms in animals. There are about 5 known feeding mechanisms in animal. One, you have biting and chewing, feeding mechanisms. Now let me quickly explain this. Now, biting and chewing feeding mechanisms is a type of feeding mechanism in which animals they have the ability to chew and bite their food molecules. Okay, that is to say that for them to be able to bite and chew, they must have certain organs or their mouth parts are segmented into different divisions, and each mouth part has its own function. Now, examples of animals that exhibit biting and chewing feeding mechanisms are you have the grasshopper. Now, grasshopper is a good example of animal that exhibits biting and chewing. Grasshopper, Zonoceros variegatus. All right. Grasshopper has the ability to bite and chew because its mouth parts are segmented into different divisions. Another good example are cockroaches. All right, cockroaches have the ability to bite and chew, and of course, cockroaches are called Periplaneta africana. All right. Now these are one. We also have praying-mantids. All right, praying-mantids is also a good example of animal that bites and chew. Okay, now I haven't given us examples of animals that exhibit biting and chewing feeding mechanisms. Now I told you for them to bite and chew, all right, their mouths or they have various means with which they bite and chew. All right, one, they have the labrum. Now the labrum is otherwise called the upper lip. All right, the labrum is otherwise called the upper lip. And two, now the function of the labrum is to prevent the falling of the food off the mouth of these organisms. All right, it prevents the falling of food off the mouth of these organisms. All right, it puts or it places the food intact. It prevents the food from falling. Then two, you have mandibles. They also have what? Mandibles. Mandibles are it's a mouth part that is highly toothed. It is heavily toothed, and it is jaw-like in shape. Now the mandibles is heavy, toothed, and jaw-like in structure. It's in the form of what? Jaw. All right. What does it do? These are responsible for biting and chewing. The mandibles is a heavily toothed mouth part that is jaw-like in structure and does the work of biting and chewing. That is the work of the mandible. Now, three, they have a pair of maxillae. All right, they have a pair of maxillae. Now, the work of the maxillae is to continue is to further chew the food materials that the mandibles had chewed initially. They have a pair of maxillae. It further chews or grinds or masticates the food materials that were initially grinded or chewed by the mandibles. Now the fourth one, you now have the labrum. The labrum, please take notes. Don't take this for this. Labrum, the one that has eye, is called the lower lip. All right, the one with no eye is called the upper lip. Don't take the two. Don't take one for the other. Okay, just be careful about that. Now the labrum or the lower lip It's responsible, or it prevents the wastage of food materials off the mouth of the living organisms or of these organisms. The labrum prevents the falling of food off the mouth of the organism. Mandibles is heavily toothed and it is jaw-like in structure. It does the work of what? Biting and chewing. Then the maxillae, if they have a pair of maxillae which further chews or masticates the food materials that were initially chewed by the mandibles. Now the labrum, otherwise called the lower lip, is responsible, or it prevents the wastage of food materials off the mouth of the living organisms, or of the organism that exhibit biting and chewing mechanisms. All right, that is for that. Now number 2. All right, haven't given us this one. You now have number 2 example. You now have absorbing mechanism. All right, absorbing mechanism. A good example of organisms that exhibit absorbing mechanism is the tapeworm. All right, the tapeworm has tapeworm, you know, it's called Taenia solium, and of course I know we have the Taenia saginata. Taenia solium is found in pork meats. The Taenia saginata is found in cattle. Now, the tapeworm has absorbing mechanism because it doesn't have alimentary canal. That is, it cannot digest its own food. Therefore, it depends solemnly or completely on the nutrients that the host has. That is, it does not digest its food materials because it lacks alimentary canal. Then it only exhibits absorbing mechanism. Okay, its body structure has the ability to absorb nutrients from the host. Tapeworm is found in the ileum of the small intestine of its host. Now, what are the certain mechanisms, or what are the features this tapeworm has in order for it to adapt to its environment? That is, in the ileum of the small intestine. 1, it has a cuticle. Now, the cuticle prevents it from being digested by the enzymes secreted by the host during the process of what? Digestion. The cuticle protects it or prevents it from being digested by the enzymes the host secrete during the process of what? Digestion. 2, it has proglottids. All right. Now, this proglottids enhances the effective absorption of food materials from the host. All right. It permits the absorption of food materials from the host. Then you have number 3. It lacks alimentary canal. Okay. Now, I told you that it does not have the ability to carry out digestive process because it lacks alimentary canal. Therefore, it has absorbing mechanism. It depends completely on the host for survival, right? Then 3, it has flat body surface. Now, the flat body surface it has gives it large volume area for absorption. All right, it enhances, or it provides large surface area for absorption. Okay, the flat body surface it has provides volume for large surface area of what? Absorption. So please take note of that. These are the features it possesses. Of course, I told us that in the initial class, I told us that the tapeworm has the hook and sucker. All right, the hook enhances it, or it gives it the ability to stick or attach itself to the host. Then the sucker is what it uses to suck food materials from the host. So at this point, to call it a day here, always make sure you subscribe, like and share, so that you have to understand or know the other types of feeding mechanism. There are other types. 2, we have the trapping and 3, we have the trapping and absorbing mechanism. 4, we have the piercing and sucking feeding mechanism, and we have the grinding mechanism. So in our next class, we are going to be discussing the other 3 types of feeding mechanisms in animals. Please do make sure to subscribe, like, comment and share. Please, it is very, very important. Always put your questions on the comments section. Do not forget, this is my number, 091-6011-5375. You have my WhatsApp number, 070-44180-387. Do have a wonderful day.